With that, I request that we introduce ourselves. Let us just do the basic, your name, your constituency. And yeah, we start with the Honorable extreme end there.
Migadi Robert Ndugwa, MP of Highlands.
Aseko Eli Elias, MP Koboko North.
Akelo Judith Franca, Woman Member of Parliament, Agago District.
Ilukor Charles, Member of Parliament, Kumi County, Kumi District.
My name is Avur Jane Pachuto, the Woman Member of Parliament for Pakwach and the Vice Chair of this committee.
Henry Msas is my name. I'm the MP Rwanda County East and Chairperson of the Finance Committee.
Staff,
but not the chair of this session. So where is yours? Then you ask the flag.
Thank you. Over to you, Investment Authority.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lawrence Vianci. I'm the Acting Director General of Uganda Investment Authority.
My name is Barbara Kabuchu. I'm the Director of Finance and Administration.
I'm called Hamza Galiwango, the Director for Industrial Parks Development.
Napito, I'm the Acting Director, One Stop Center.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Alex Nwajira. I'm the Project Manager for the AIBP Infrastructure Development Project.
Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Sheila Mojenzi, and I'm the Director in charge of Investment Promotion and Development.
Sorry, committee. My name is Bright Onapito. I'm the Acting Director, One Stop Center.
Thank you. Members, like I'd said before us we have Uganda Investment Authority. They appeared before us on the 10th of Feb, and we asked for some information that they should provide specific information. And as shared with you in their report, I now take the opportunity to welcome them as a team and also invite the Acting Director General to present to the committee the said report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members of this committee.
Chair, procedure. I
Yes,
want to
Chair.
know, where is Chugundu?
Pardon?
Where is Chugundu, Joseph?
You want to know where, who?
Yes, they know him.
Who is Chigundu Joseph?
Chair and members, Joseph Chugundu is the Director for One Stop Center, but currently is on leave. But we have Mr. Bright Onapito, who is currently taking care of the division.
At one time he was acting what? He was doing what we were doing. So what were you doing then? Is it rotational? That's what we want to understand.
Chair and members, Joseph, yes, is right. MP is right. He was acting Director General for the past 2 months when I was on leave. And I came back, I resumed work on the 1st Feb. So him as a person, he took his leave because he had not taken his leave. So in his place, right now as we talk, it is the Brighton Apito, who is next to him in the hierarchy, who is representing the one-stop center.
So when we want to talk to investment authority, who do we authoritatively talk to?
Chair, I don't get Honorable's question very well.
My question
The question is, if this committee or any member here would like to talk or communicate with the investment authority, who authoritatively or who is the authentic, the right person to be talked to?
Who is the accounting officer?
Chair, it is me, Lawrence Biensi.
So the other one was masquerading.
For how long have you acted?
I want to understand, because someone was coming to us, telling us he's the acting executive director. We want to understand under what circumstances was he doing so without your authority.
How long ago was
But
that?
Chair,
Because he said he was on.
Chair, maybe if I could add what you're saying. I mean, since certain lady, Madam, who was retired, yes. What has happened to the process of having the effectively recruited Director General for Uganda Investment Authority? Because when that lady left, there's a man who came in, and I think he also resigned or something and went somewhere. So the place has kept
Then there's another one
having
who came to
people
my
acting,
office, introduced
what is
himself
happening?
as the acting ED called Joseph Chugun.
Yes, then Chigundu comes in, then Mr. Biensi, who have been knowing Lawrence Biensi, comes on every other time to the
Okay,
committee,
let's give
still
him time
acting.
to respond.
Can we understand what is happening with the leadership of the institution?
I think so.
The process of having the substantive director, for how long is somebody supposed to act?
Acting for him.
Okay.
Chair and members, I take your consent. I want to give, to respond to this position of Director General. This position of Director General has been vacant since 2018, when the ED then, as she was called, the board took a decision not to renew her contract, who terminated her contract. And since 2018, there have been several, yes, you are right. First person who acted was Basil Aja, who acted for 1 year, and he got another job elsewhere. When that happened, I was asked to step in to replace Basil, and I did since the beginning of Feb 2019, and have been acting up to date. The Honorable was concerned a few months ago. Yes, it is true. I personally, as a person who got issues, I took leave for roughly almost 2 months. And during that period, which I'm sure Honorable is referring to, yes, Joseph Chugun, before I went for my leave, I asked him to take over the leadership of the institution. And Joseph Chugun did that up to the end of January this year, where I resumed my office 1st February.
The clarification I would like to seek from the acting Director General is sometime, maybe 1.5 months ago, we got some news from social media, from wherever, that somebody had been appointed a deputy ED of Uganda Investment Authority. Where is that one now? Is it true that somebody was appointed in the position that we don't know whether it used to exist as a deputy ED or something of Uganda Investment Authority?
Members, well, I believe he has taken in your questions, and I do recognize your concern because investment authority is really one of the pillars of how we see this country grow, and without having a clear leadership, it's definitely a problem. So I don't know if you could allow him time to present this, and maybe as they respond, they will also respond to all this.
Chair, why are we saying this? There could be a substantive accounting officer that is supposed to be here, and yet is hiding somewhere. We want to get clear.
Okay. Maybe let me put this question.
These people are delegated here, or they are actually here.
Okay. Let me add more questions to the acting Director General. Definitely, when you are given this position, it was official. Was it clear to you for how long you would act? And then two, has this position ever been advertised? Have interviews taken place? Was recruitment processes started at all? If they were started, where is the roadblock? Why is it that you cannot be put in the position you are holding since February 2019 as the substantive Director General, or somebody else takes over this office? Where is the challenge, and what is the challenge exactly?
Thank you, Chair and members. I think let me clarify this point. As I said, when I was given that responsibility of acting in February 2019, I was given a contract which took me 1 year. But during the process of my contract, the process to recruit the substantive Director General was started, concluded. The board submitting their approved candidate or candidates, and the board submitted to the Ministry of Finance, which is our ministry. Now, when that was done, at that level, of course, I can't comment on what other authorities were seeking, but it was submitted. My understanding, informal understanding with the board, that the name was not approved. When that happened, because my contract was also ending, the board did approach the minister and sought a clarification of how to proceed going forward. When that was done, the minister did write to me, and I have that correspondence, stating clearly that you remain acting Director General until the substantive Director General is appointed. Okay? So that has been the process.
No, Madam Chair, the rest can be, we can engage the minister over the rest. The rest is above him.
You can go ahead and give your presentation.
Thank you, Chair and members. Chair, as you said in your opening remarks, this team was here last week, and we interacted with the committee, and we were requested for additional information given the submission that we did last week. Specifically on items that are summarized in our letter to this committee, we were tasked to give additional information on the industrial parks project. That is KIBP, the infrastructure project. We were also tasked to give an update on the implementation of the one-stop center. Number 3, we were asked to give a report of the development of free zones and our relationship with the Free Zones Authority. And then we asked also to highlight the benefits of at least 3 years, indicating the benefits to the country. And lastly, but not least, we were asked to submit a report on our collaboration with the Ugandan diplomatic missions. Those were the items that were asked to provide more information. And Chair, that is this report is focused on those items that are highlighted. And I wish to submit our report, starting with the update on the Kampala Industrial and Business Park in Namanve. And that one we have marked Annex 1. It's a detailed report, but I will just run through it very quickly, giving an overview of the park. This is our park in Namanve. I'm sure many of the honorables are aware of this project. It has been with us for some years. It is a 2,200-acre project that we've been implementing over the years. But what is important here for this meeting is that we recently got funding for this infrastructure project in Namanve. And it is what we are requested to provide information or an update. And in this report, that's basically what we are presenting. Okay. Now, for this project, when the government of Uganda secured funding from the UK Export Finance, which is the financier for this infrastructure project, this is a project of 215 million euros that is going to do all the infrastructure services that we need in that area. The initial stages, of course, we were able to sign the relevant agreement. We've been able to move and get the contractor who is going to build the infrastructure in the park in the names of Lagan Dot Namanve Limited. This process, of course, was concluded at the end of 2019. Effectively, the project started in July 6 last year. So, in effect, we've had the contractor on the site for the last 6-7 months. The contractor, together with we also were able to recruit an owner's engineer, because this is an infrastructure project. That's a requirement that we hire that consultant. So we have an owner's engineer, whom we also signed with an agreement, who is on the project as our owner's engineer. We've highlighted there on page 9 of this report briefly what this project will cover. I think there are 9 items, which I don't want to go into details, but they are clear on page 9 of our report. We've also shared with this committee the project governance structure of this project. Members on page 10 and 11. the project. On top of the project, we have a steering committee, which is chaired by the PSST, the Ministry of Finance, and is composed of various agencies of government who are relevant to the infrastructure project: Ministry of Works, Ministry of Water, and other ministries of government. Below the steering committee, which is really an overseer of the project at that level, we have the technical project implementation committee. Members, you'll bear with us that this is a project that touches on so many other infrastructure services: roads, power, water, you name it, IT. So these compose, they form at that level, they are members of the Technical Project Implementation Committee from those agencies. Give their, basically their guidance, because they are technical departments and ministries. Now below it, we have, of course, our board of directors who oversee our operations. And then below that, we also were aware that we need a team that is going to drive this project on a day-to-day basis. So we have what we call a project management team, headed by a project manager who is here with us, Mr. Alex Nwajira, the project manager, and he was recruited in May last year. But working with him, there will be a team of professionals, engineers, architects, surveyors, communication experts, of course, accountant and the other administrative staff. So those form the project management committee of the project. And this team will be working below it with the owner's engineer, who is basically our consultant to advise us on the implementation of the project by the constructing firm. And then we have the contractor, who is the one I said, this is Lagan Dodd Nama Limited. So that's the project governance structure as presented there. On page 12, we tried to, give a bit of our UIA project structure, which of course is on top of it. We have our board, my office, then the project manager, who heads that professional team that works with him on a daily basis. So that is the structure of the project. We also have given a bit of the progress which has taken place during the last 6-7 months in the project. As you know, this is an infrastructure project, so most of the initial work is there on preparatory studies, designing, and as you know. And so here on page 13, we are really highlighting the progress that has been made in the last 6-7 months. And we want to share with you, members, that when we look at the physical progress that were planned at 16% covering that period, the actual progress that we've been able to register is 11%. On the planned financial progress, we are reporting that the planned financial progress was at 13.2, but actually we've made 5.2 for that period. We clearly state a work plan that is that overruns page 13 to I think to 14, and we also on page 15 give a progress both on the project activities in percentage terms, and then the financial progress so far achieved. We are stating here that The key milestones for the contractor, he has been able to get advance of about 53 million. We have so far paid an interim certificate for the works that has been done, 108 million out of the 53. And for the owner's engineer, we have only, I think, paid 800,000, 576, as a 10% after he produced the inspection report. Chair, the last section of this update is on challenges. And with your permission, Chair, I would want to request the project manager to go through the three challenges that the project is facing. Alex?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Chair, sorry, and Acting Director General. With your permission, Madam Chair, allow me walk the committee through the key challenges we have faced during the commencement of the project, and that is in July of this year. The first challenge was, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown, and how it really affected our mobilization to commence on project works as had been planned. You will notice that this is a huge project with a key components to be implemented, ranging from waterworks, roads, power, and other amenities, and we needed experts to fly in, especially to handle the design and studies phase. That was a bit slow, so it has also affected our progress to date. But with the opening of borders now, the experts have begun flying in, but at that time, they were working off-site in their UK offices. It was a big challenge even when it came to mobilization of equipment. The second challenge has been, as Uganda Investment Authority, we have not yet accessed funding required to supervise the project. And this has slowed us down in terms of our supervisory mandate and role of the project. We've not managed to up-to-date recruit our project management team, other than myself. And even up-to-date, I have not managed to get a salary. These are key challenges because we are beginning to receive technical input from the design teams, as well as the owner's engineer. And as UIA, as the supervising and implementing agency, we need to have technical input. We did present these matters to our oversight committee, which is the project steering committee at Ministry of Finance last week, and they came up with backstop solutions where the PSST committed to write to different agencies to give us support until we can get this issue of funding resolved and the team on board. Madam Chair, with your permission, the last issue was, of course, on the successor project. Funding for the project was channeled through the existing industrial and business park projects. That is project 0994, and it is due to exit the system at the end of this financial year. Once it does exit, disbursement and also request for additional funding may be a challenge. So this is not a challenge at the moment, but it is a risk we see going forward if we do not get a successor project in place. Like mentioned earlier, Madam Chair, we did also bring this issue up to the Project Steering Committee, and the Ministry of Finance has committed to supporting us until we have this successor project in place. But in terms of progress, UIA did submit a concept note to the Development Committee in December of last year, and this was approved. And right now we are doing the profiling and trying to secure a project code. Why this is critical to the project is because when we were signing the contract for the owner's engineer, the loan did only provide to cater for their fees in the first year. Year 2, which begins July, to year 6, when they're supposed to be with us, our government of Uganda is supposed to meet their expense or their fees. And without a project in place, that disbursement may not be possible. So we are working round the clock to ensure that this does not become an actual problem, but it is stated as a challenge.
Thank you, Alex, for that. Lastly, but most important, we have we have specific requests to this committee. And one of the requests is first to note the progress that the project has made so far, but also note the challenges that we are still facing in the implementation. Number two, most important, is also considering allocation of 2.3 billion for activities of the owner's engineer in the coming year, 2020.
12.3.
12.3.
Which one is which? 12.3.
As this will be to cater for the activities of the... Sorry, I could have...
It is 12.3.
It is 12.3, sorry about that. Yeah. To cater for the activities of owner's engineer in the subsequent financial of 2021-22. We are also requesting the committee to give us a date once you are visiting the park to appreciate the progress that has been made so far. Chair, I submit on that number one.
Thank you. Members, I don't know what your views are. I would think that he presents all and then we react. Will it be too much for us? Is that okay? Okay. Then we proceed with the other.
Chair and members, item number 2, which we were asked to give a report on the status of the implementing the one-stop center. Next number. Again, members, this is the project that we have been implementing. Young investment for some years. I've given a background, and I think critically, most important thing is that we're trying to move away from old way of getting investment licenses, getting done at the institution. So what happened way back in 2014 onward, we operated what we call a physical one-stop center, where we got officers of these key agencies that are involved in the primary licensing of the business or investment, land, migration, EMA, NPS, and all those. We got officers, thank you, posted at UIA, and we ran what we call a physical one-stop center for a number of years. But then we realized that the world is taking on adopting technology, things are changing. That's not the best way to provide service. So in order to improve our services at UIA, especially those majorly the primary institutions that have to approve several licenses for investors, we decided now to go online with those services. Of course, we are aware that we cannot handle all the services that are offered by different government departments, so we prioritized 7 as a pilot, and we were able to set up a system called eBiz. You see that on our website, eBiz, where we started with the UIA, of course, as as an institution that licenses investors, URA for tax registration purposes, immigration for those who might require work permits for their directors, KCCA, NEMA, and the Minister of Land. So we went through the pilot phase where their services were put on that EB system. Currently, we have more agencies, of course, under the one-stop center facility, about 13 agencies, but also the services of those piloted institutions have been put online. Clients or investors, wherever they are, whether in Uganda or outside, you can access these services online without physically having to present the documents or hard copies of the documents. And we are happy to share with you on page 4 of that annex the services we have, but also which are online, but also the time it takes to provide those services. And clearly, you will see that those prioritize the 7 institutions. In terms of time delivery, some of those have been reduced to 1 day. Others, a few of those, a question of hours. So that's basically our one-stop center services that we have institutionalized. And we are not yet there, but we think if we move at the same pace with the government support which we have been getting over these years, we should be able to every year add some other online services so that at the end of the day we are able to compete with other countries in terms of service delivery. We have provided a list on the annex, a list of the institutions that we are talking about. They are all listed there. The hours they take now to give their services, to offer their services for the benefit of this committee. And we want to thank you as members of this committee for supporting us to implement this one-stop center project. I should also report that this financial year, we are now moving not only because this is a facility that has been here, but we also want to replicate this to the regions. Our plan is to start with the 4 regional one-stop centers in the towns of Mbare, Guru, Arua, and Imbarara. This financial year, we are grateful to Parliament and particularly this committee for being able to avail us money, and we are starting with Zimbabwe. All the procurement processes are underway. We hope that by the end of this financial year, Mbare as a regional one-stop center will be operational. Chair, that's our update on the one-stop center.
Madam Chair, some clarification. If I got him properly, he says there has been a shift from the traditional one-stop center arrangement of bringing the people in one place, and now they are online. So if the one-stop center setup is online, why do you have to go to regions? I just want to understand. What do you mean by online, by having a one-stop center online? Do you have to talk about regions when you have moved to setting up everything on a computer? That's my understanding. Please be on record. Switch on the microphone.
I was saying that we are mindful that in this task of investment promotion and facilitation, we as a country must be seen to appreciate that our own our very own domestic investors, as we call them, are very key in this process. And therefore, having services that are far from them ultimately is a disadvantage. And we've benchmarked with other countries and seen that that's the best route to go. The reason why we are now coming with duplicating this in the regions is really to appreciate what our domestic investors are doing up there, but also to bring those available services nearer to them. First, we may, of course, we're going to attempt to start with what I mentioned earlier, of having the physical key agencies in that center, but also see how we can link it to the EB system, okay? So that these services are available to our very own domestic investors in this country.
That you want to expand, say, to Mbale and put their physical people. At the same time now, you're using the bit of technology. And don't you see that you're duplicating?
They're actually contradicting themselves.
Yeah.
It is self-defeating. If you have decided to move. Anyway, I wanted a clarification. You can proceed with your reason.
Chair and members, I think our experience when we started this implementation of this one-stop center, as I said, we started with the physical here at our office. And clearly, it had a significant impact, okay? Because previously, what would happen is that companies or investors would move from UIA, you want a tax identification, URA, immigration, round. But when we were able to have seconded staff in one physical location, there was certainly ease in terms of doing business, getting those approvals. But we realized that's not enough, okay? And that's why we went online with those agencies. We want now to, yes, we want to move to the regions, because we also believe that if we are going to build this country using our own investors, we must be seen to move in that direction.
Chair, proceed. Can the director quickly rush through his presentation? And
I think that point is understandable, right? But that yes, you need to take services near to the people and also include the local investors. But I think the chair's point of clarification was that until you are trying to improve, go to a higher level, but again, you are trying to still remain where you started.
Chair, may I, through you, just to add to what the DG is saying, we are running both a physical and an online one-stop center. On a weekly, at UIA, we have 100 people walking in physically to our offices, even when we have the online one-stop center. They come, people don't know how to do businesses, to write their documents, and we have a list of experts who are actually helping the people. So even in there, people, women, SMEs, they want physical help. And then once they've passed that level, that's when they go to online. Thank you.
Let's proceed with the report.
Chair, the next item, that was the one-stop center. The next item is on our relationship with the free zones as the Uganda Investment Authority. Again, we have provided a bit of detailed information, but I think which I will not go through in detail. I have to try to give the background of how we acquire land, how we allocate the land, and I've given information on some of the industrial parks. We have now secured land and at different stages of development, just for information. And then these are about 10. And then specifically the question that the committee wanted information on was that in all the 10 different sites that we have acquired land, we do realize since the Uganda Free Zones Authority was set up in 2014, we realized that we need to work very closely with them. So first, what we did was we were able to allocate them land in the different sites that we are holding. We have given them land in Jinja Industrial Park. We've given them land in Soroti, 20 acres each, and we've given them land in Kasese, 20 acres. The objective here basically was to, as a sister agency, since we had land available, is to share with them, because we believe that some of these investors we are attracting in the country, some are here to produce for the domestic market, but some few currently are focusing on the export market. And therefore, to shorten the process, since it is a sister agency, we, the board level, decided to avail them these pieces of land so that they can go ahead and do their detail of what they want those sites to be free zone. And currently, those are the sites we have provided land to UFUZA. Secondly, in setting up our our one-stop center, as I mentioned earlier, Uganda Free Zones Authority is one of the agencies already who are physically located at our center. Lastly, but not least, as UIA, according to the UFUZA law, we are represented on their board. Okay? The Director General is a member of that board. So that's the relationship that we are giving this committee as an update.
I don't know whether I got you right. The first relationship is that you're a land broker for the free zones. You acquire land on their behalf, or it is your land which you hand over to them. Are you a land broker?
Chair, we don't see ourselves as land brokers, but
no, I'm saying 20%.
But what we did and what we discussed and see it was a possibility was that by the time this agency came into existence, which is 2014, okay, we already had land in these sites, right? And therefore, we saw it complementary that some of these investors that were getting would be interested in focusing on exports. And therefore, we allocated them land, not that we really did any broking, we just allocated them land like other clients in the park for them to carry out their activity as a start.
What is it that is done at the Free Zones Authority that cannot be done within Uganda Investment Authority?
I think, yes, Chair.
Any special expert or technical, that the establishment of investment or Uganda Investment Authority cannot do?
Chair and members, here we are not looking at what we can do because the fact that the government decided that a separate institution be established to focus specifically on exports. Whereas on our part, as Uganda Investment Authority, initially from when this institution was set up, we were inviting investors. We didn't pay particular emphasis on whether people were coming here to invest their money for specifically for export or domestic. So we welcomed all categories of investment in that regard. So when you look at our allocations of land in our industrial parks, we really didn't differentiate. Now here we get an institution that has been, clearly distinguished from our UIA, focused on export, and therefore really require the basic things like land to do that, encourage those exports. And we already had this land. And secondly, we also appreciate that what they are doing is complementary to what we are doing, because we are trying to encourage more investors in this country. Okay? But whereas for us, we didn't mind whether these were focused on domestic market. Now came a point where as a country we realized that we need to encourage more export. And therefore, UFUSA came up. And so we saw it prudent. Here, we are not competing, but we are complementing our effort.
Yes, members. It's as if we are reacting as but maybe as you move to the next one, you did state that you're making a lot of efforts to promote local investors. Now with these free zones, there are these investors that come, you provide them land and they, produce for export. Are there any arrangement between Uganda Revenue Authority with the free zones to help where the local investors do not or may not have the capacity to export? Is there any local arrangement to link the small local investors with the big investors? Is there any such arrangement, collaboration between you and the Free Zones Authority? You can answer as you complete. Is it okay? You want to react to it first? Seems, yeah, the concern, I think we had agreed that we react later, but we somehow interfered. So you now complete, then you react at once. I didn't want to forget that one. We are aware, Honorable. Be patient a bit. He's about to conclude this. We need to understand the working of these people. There's only that, and then there's still three.
Chair and members, the rest part of the presentation, the other part is on the this should be Annex 4, which highlights the details of investment projects in the last 3 years. And, sorry. It's on a table format. We've really detailed the projects that we've licensed, and tried to give a bit of details on their planned investment, on their planned jobs to be generated, the sectors that they are in, but more importantly, to show the in terms of revenue that they have contributed, the tax contribution to the economy. We've highlighted that so that we give you a picture of some of the companies we've handled, what benefits they have generated this country. Here, the list we have, I think, is only covering 192 companies. And these have been able to pay tax revenue to the tune of 3.9 billion, which to us is a significant contribution from these companies that are shortlisted here. We believe that, sorry? I think the total list that we have shared.
The number of companies are how many?
192.
Paying a tax contribution of
3.9 billion.
And employing how many people?
A trillion, sorry.
Trillion? I was wondering.
Trillion, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. In terms of their planned investment, we are estimating this at 47,657 people. Sorry? You don't have it? No. Sorry.
Can we have more copies?
Oh, maybe. You still have more copies? Daniel, can you share this to the members who don't have? Sorry about the missing document. So that's the update that we have as far as that matter is concerned. Now,
this would have been better if the taxes were categorized in terms of pay-as you earn, corporation tax, VAT, and others.
Chair and members, we take note of that. I think the team will go back and provide that categorization of different.
And also the exemptions they have received vis-a-vis the tax foregone as a result of giving them exemptions vis-a-vis what we have collected from them. Do you have that information? Yes. Because these are the incentives. Yes.
I think additional to that, it will also be important to look at, yes, this is the upturn, okay? But what was the projection at time planning? Okay? So that information is critical.
Very.
We are not simply looking at what is the upturn. No, we are looking at the time of investment. What was our projections? Are we in line with those projections, or we are completely out of? Okay. Yeah.
I agree with you, Honorable Siko. I think it is very important.
Chair and members, we take note of that. We endeavor to correct that and give, communicate that the additional information that has been requested from us.
We need to agree on a timeline. How long?
But Chair, let's understand this clearly. Yeah, we request for this information, and like you're saying, we need a timeline. But is this information readily available with you about the tax, whatever contribution of some of these companies? Is it there, or you're going to URA to ask them to give you a breakdown?
Of course.
Do you have it?
Chair,
what I know, this information is in URA. Like this one, you just looked at, normally URA lists the what? Taxpayers. So you went from this, where are yours that you licensed, and you said you picked yours. Do you have this information? You don't.
Give him the opportunity to respond.
Pay as you earn, Chair. Pay as you earn, you have of this company. You just got the lump sum of how much each has contributed to the economy, and you picked those you licensed. So what you're going back to liaise with what? URA. So tell us exactly that, to give us time to go and liaise with what? URA, and get you this information, right?
Chair, the Honorable is very right. Some of this information we don't have to start from the start, because there is information that is available with our sister agencies. And that's why, under our one-stop center, these agencies are represented. So when information like this, which is so particular, is requested, and we know that the sister agency has this information already, we certainly approach them and they provide the information. And so we do that.
Through you, Madam Chair,
Yes, Chair.
we expect them to be on top of the game.
Exactly.
With all this information, that's when you can be able to facilitate the investors. But if you can't avail information, if you can't have this information readily available with you, then what impact are you causing? Then it comes to my earlier question when you appear. The investors out there are complaining that they are not getting help from you. Because what kind of help would they need rather than information? Someone would even want to ask you, if I invest in this nature of business, what are my likely returns? I'm not sure whether you can answer that. So all this is what are the gaps we keep getting out there. For us, for your information, we interact with the population directly. They are at liberty to ask anything from an MP or to give any sort of information to an MP. So Mr. DG and the team, where is the commitment that you will do things differently? Convince us that we must keep giving you additional funds. Convince us that we must keep growing the base in terms of one-stop centers. Facilitating what? Availing which kind of information? So these are some of the issues you may need to justify between now and April. Otherwise, don't get surprised when you see a further cut. Yes, information.
The information I wanted to give, like you're saying, what is the essence of the one-stop center? Is it just one building where each one is staying with its separate information? So if you want information, they say, move to the next. Why can't you get a system which interlinks you so that if somebody is in your desk and wants information maybe about you or about a certain one, you just click on what? Is there classified information that you can be rejected from accessing or what? Because to us, that is the essence of a one-stop center. If somebody goes to URA, he can be able to access what? Investment authority. If there's any physical whatever help that he needs, that's when he can be pushed aside. But readily, the information is available at a click of a what? A button.
Chair, I just want to observe that it is extremely critical that an institution like Uganda Investment Authority has data, and today it's impossible to manage any institution without, having a factual statistical information and what have you for purpose of planning, control, and decision making. So, and you must be able to anticipate what information do we need, what information do our clients need, okay, so that you are able to structure the information that will satisfy the needs of your clientele, okay. So I think we need to re-engineer the way we do things. We need to re-engineer our thinking. Okay? This country has suffered enough along that line. Yeah? We need to think differently, really. I'm a bit sad that, this is what is obtaining in the Uganda Investment Authority. Okay? So, I want to implore you that it's important you critically look at that area. It's a strategic resource. Information is a strategic resource. Yeah? We need it. As members of parliament, we need it. We want to look at your performance. And we can't do that when we don't have the basis to evaluate that. Okay? So,
yes, I think you can proceed.
Chair, we've taken note of the comments made by the honorable members on this matter. We do agree totally that information is vital and it has to be accurate information and timely. It's not a question of availing information. Now, in our effort to be able to provide information to investors, we do believe that we shouldn't waste additional resources collecting information that is already with our sister agency. And so,
no. We don't need to deploy resources there at all.
For example,
it's a matter of sharing the information.
For example, this information you are presenting on tax contribution is for financial year 2018-2019. This is long ago. It is not even up to date. And also, it doesn't mean that you have to go to the field. I want a situation, if it is a one-stop center setup, you have URA there, you have UBOS there, you have mentioned any other entities you have in that arrangement. Can they put this information together to facilitate me if I want any support from you? So does that amount to you taking up another responsibility of doing research about any form of ideas that come about? I want to understand, Mr. DG.
Chair, maybe I had not completed my presentation on that matter. What I was trying to communicate to the members here is that, yes, we need that information, but we also know for the fact that there are other sister agents of government that have this information, and I take your observation that, yes, if we have an agency like URA and the one-stop center, and we have, any other agencies of government, we should be able to utilize their presence being linked to us on one-stop center to provide this information. That one we take note, and of course we started somewhere, and we should be.
Shouldn't be when you are asked for. I think you need this information at your disposal to make you perform your work better. That is what the committee is trying to emphasize, and to readily avail this information to both local and international investors, because you need. It is very critical for you to have this information to even guide or advise this country the direction we are taking, whether we are on the right move or not, whether we are creating employment or not, whether we are benefiting in terms of taxes or not. It's you we have to depend on, and not only URA. It is you when it comes to investment, and you need this at your fingertips. It's not just for this committee. You need it, you as investment authority.
Chair, with your permission, let me allow me to
hold on, some member.
Chair. So what we are looking for is not really we have got a presentation that they are operating as a one-stop center. And the presentation coming before us in terms of the hard copies, not the words, but the hard copies should really reflect that really these agencies are interacting together somewhere. Because at a certain point we shall have URA. And how do you convince, for example, this committee that you are operating as a one-stop center to the public, but the other agencies really cannot interact, so that you present a document which reflects that you're operating as a one-stop center? And that's what it should be current. If the financial year, for example, this is, for example, this year is 2021, maybe we should have 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021. So that shows that actually you are interacting. Because if URA cannot interact with the UIA within that one-stop center, then how do you expect it to interact with an investor in Zimbabwe, an investor in Mbale? Basically, I think that's what we are talking about. And what you present before us provide some clue that you're actually operating as a one-stop center. But as for now, what you are presenting indicates that even within, under one roof, every agency is working as, as an agency, not as a unit.
Through you, Madam Chair, just to substantiate what the acting director said, indeed, we are supposed to be working together, and we really appreciate that we need to be sharing information. And one of the steps that we have taken, as it was indicated in the report, is we are moving towards what we call systems integration, because we appreciate that to have information, you need to have systems. And the agencies that we're working with have already put in place systems that cost millions of dollars. And so the electronic business portal that Director General talked about is actually integrated with these systems. One of the things that we hope to achieve is to be able to get information on the fly. And we are currently, as we have just integrated with URA, and we're able to get tax information from them. But this integration is a process, and different kinds of information, depending on the sensitivity, we have been phasing the integration process. So we're able to get this tax information because we already have integration with them. So we actually work together as a one-stop center. And as we indicated in the report, we're experiencing a budget cut on that integration process. And if we're going to really be able to have this information on the fly, we cannot afford to be losing money on a very critical process like systems integration. So we hope that we can actually be facilitating in that area to be able to collect data, analyze it, and to present it when it's needed on the fly, because it's very important. Thank you.
Yes. Let's proceed.
Thank you, Chair and members, for again those valuable comments that you put before us. The last item, Chair, is on the collaboration with the Ugandan diplomatic missions, of course, to enhance Uganda as a preferred investment destination. We want to state here clearly that the work we do in investment promotion and facilitation involves our missions abroad, not only abroad, but also missions that are presented in Uganda. Those two parties are very critical in our efforts to market this country. And so we recognize that, and we have continuously in the past, and we also intend to do that in the future, because we appreciate that these missions, which are abroad especially, and which are in our targeted markets, like Europe and China and India, basically on a day-to-day basis, these are our contacts, because they are down in direct contact with the potential investor. So our efforts towards making sure that this is done properly, as you alluded to earlier on information, we share information with this embassy, with this mission. On our website, we try as much as possible, of course, to upload what we think is important, but also directly giving some of this information to the missions abroad and to the missions here to help us in reach contacts which we cannot directly link to. Being near on the ground, we believe that even those who work in the embassy or send things like emails, the embassy should be equipped to respond to some of the queries that are raised at that level. And so, continuously, we have done that. We are not yet 100% for sure in terms of that collaboration, but we believe that we've moved a step towards perfecting that route. We also realize that the missions which are based here in the country are also a good link, because when some of these investors are looking at Uganda,